That's modeling and that of Brownian motion. So this was the first class. So the first place we went to, could either use the model wizard or blank model. But then let me just go through the process of how it is done. I may not give you all the details on why this is this, but you can find out that. So the first thing is we go to model wizard. You can either choose the 3D dimension, 2D axis symmetric, 2D, and the rest. But in this particular case, we are going to use the 2D. And then the 2D is, just like the X and Y dimension. All right. So don't forget that we're working on something that has to do with Brownian motion. So we want to study that. So after that, move on to fluid flow. Here we have fluid flow here. You click on this and then you move over to particle tracing. So there are several options that we have here, several physics that you can select. But for this particular Brownian motion, we are going to choose fluid flow, then particle tracing. You drop it down, okay? And then we are going to select particle tracing as particle tracing for fluid flow. That's FPT. When you select on it, you will see some details concerning it here. All right. After you have done that, you click on Add. You see it here added physics interface. In case you want to remove it, you do not intend to choose that, you can easily remove it from here. Okay, and then after you have chosen that, click on study, and then we are considering a time-dependent study. Okay, so click on time-dependent and done. Okay, there's something we're running on before. Let me click on yes. All right, so here we have the interface that we are going to build our model. All right, so we have the global definition, we have the component. Now, the component is under the global definition, and the component is the one we are working on. So, whatever parameters that you're going to make use of, you'll be calling it under component one. All right, so the first thing we go to here is we go to geometry. Now, I want to realize that this geometry here is present here, and you also have it up here. So you could choose it from any of the two. Now, if you're going to be choosing it from here, you have to right click. When you right click, you see all the options. Now, these same options that you have here, you have it up here as well. So you have it here. So I'll be using this. All right, so we want to first make a rectangle. So when you click on the rectangle, you have these settings here. So in these settings, you just change the ones I'm going to be changing from here. So you would change the width, make it width of 10 and make the height 5. Okay. You leave every other thing as it is. If you want to now, currently it is set on corner. So the corner means that it's going to start from I think 0, 0, like that would be where it's going to start from. But then so the next thing we do after setting the size and shape is we click on build selected. Okay. So once you build selected, you will see that the rectangle is starting from 0, 0. So you can move or you can change the position of where you want your shape to be. And then we set it at the width to be 10. So as you can see, we have 0 to 10 here. And here we have the height at 0 to 5. That was what we set. The next thing we do is we are going to sketch. So you can sketch by going to the top menu over here. And when you click on that, then you click on polygon. Now, the essence of this sketch is that we want to we want to build, we want to, um, okay, first let's zoom out to make it a little bit smaller. Now, what we want to do is we want to um, cut out this particular rectangle, and we want to see the effect of, when you've cut out part of it, when the particle that is inside the rectangle is bouncing, how does it bounce even when you have cut out some parts? Okay, so just follow as I proceed. So now what you do is, now after you have selected the polygon, you are going to draw some shapes. So you left click, you left click, you left click, you left click, and then you go back to your initial position, you left click, and then right click, and then you take it out. So we've drawn a particular shape. Okay, let's draw some other shapes. Let's draw a triangle over here. Left click, uh, you left click, you left click, and then you right click to release. Okay, again, you see the essence of part of what we are doing here. So let's draw another shape here. Let's say we are putting another triangle here. So all the while I've been left clicking, then you left click, and then you release. All right, so we have drawn those three structures. So the next stage, the next thing we have done is we are going to go back to our geometry. So what we want to do is we want to convert these shapes into solid. All right. So what we're going to do is, now I don't know why this coincidence is here. Mm. In case it stops, I'm going to just delete it. So go to geometry, and we want to convert these shapes into solid. So when you go to geometry, go to conversions, and then you click on convert to solid. So we have other things here. We want to convert it into solid. So once you click on it, as you can see, the four shapes we have drawn in there have all been converted into solids. Now, what we want to do next is we want to, I'll call it group. We want to bring these three small shapes we've drawn here. We want to bring them into groups. So you can do that by, now once you click on one, you will see there's an input object here. So what you've clicked on, it appears there. Then you click on the other one, then you click on the third one. So you can see that we've selected the three of them. Now, after you have selected them, you go to Booleans or partition, all right, and then you click on intersection. Okay, so now take note that what you're doing on your screen, you should be seeing some of the actions, some of um, the actions, or should I say, what you're doing, you should be following up on the left side over here. All right, so we've clicked on intersection. Then the next thing is we want to select this particular rectangle here, and the essence of that is that's the main shape, and we want that to remain. Now, those three shapes we have taken, we've selected at first, we are going to subtract it from this main shape, which is the rectangle. Okay, so what we do is we go back to our geometry. Okay, then you click on okay, so you select. Okay, after you've selected that, you go to Boolean, okay, and you click on difference. Cool. So after you've selected difference, you see that there's difference already appearing here. Now, the next thing is we'll move on to, okay, here we have the graphics. Okay. Now, when you click on this shape here, Now, take note that there is this kind of button here, or let me say activate and deactivate. This is green. This one is not highlighted. That means that this one is inactive. So um, now, objects to add. I want to add this. I want this rectangle to remain, so I want it to appear here. Okay. Then the object I want to subtract, then I'll come here and then I'll click on this to activate it. Then the object I want to subtract are those three shapes. So I click on it. So as you can see that the three of them are they've been grouped into one. Okay. So after you have done that, then we click on build selected. Just click on build selected. Now, once you click on build selected, can you see that those shapes have been removed from the triangle? Sorry, from the rectangle. All right. So next thing is we move on to geometry. We want to create a square. So the essence of the square is, so I'll click on square. That's the point where our particles is going to be released from. So the particles that we are going to be looking at, or we are going to be considering or studying the motion, the Brownian motion of those particles is going to be released from that square. Okay, so we click on square, then where exactly do we want the square? So let's say we want the square to be exactly in the center here. So what you do is you go to the settings and um, you let it remain at center, but you change the position. So we want it to be on 5, and then we want this to be on 2.5. So what does this actually mean? So I mean x, this is the x-axis. So this is 5 here. That will be 5 here, and then 2.5, that's the middle. Okay, so when you have done that, for the base, now let the base be center. So we are considering the center of this particular shape. And if it doesn't, if it is not exactly position where you want it to be, just Ctrl Z, it will take it back. So when you have done that, you click on build selected. Okay, so as you can see, our triangle, uh, so as you can see, our square is in the center already. Okay, next thing is we are going to go to materials. Don't forget, we have the materials here. That's on the left side. You can also choose it from here. So let's go to the top menu. We want to add material. Now, the material we want to add is water. Okay. So click on add material, and on the far right side, you will find this add material where you could search for any material you want. Although not all materials are there, you can search for the ones that are available and then give it certain characteristics, possibly now. As we thought, we don't have blood here. There's no blood. So, but when you're going to select, I mean, blood is liquid, you can select the liquid and then give that particular, um, okay, select water, and then give that water the properties of liquid. Okay. Oh, give that water the properties of blood. Give the water the properties of blood and such as the viscosity, the density, and some other things. So in this case, we are selecting water. And when you search for water, yeah, click on search. Okay, see this, there are several water options in the library. Okay, so we have material library here. Now, we are going to look for the one that is H2O liquid, not H2O gas. So you select it. Now, is that you select it once, like I've just clicked on it once here, or you can just double click it. Now, I'll select it once and go to component one. That's where we're working on. So you click on component one. And once you click on component one, just it's going to load for some seconds and then it appears. So here you have the water which you have just selected. Okay, so that's going to be the material, the material. So now the next thing is um, we want to go to particle tracing. So now here we have particle tracing. Now you can be free to collapse some of this. Yeah, I just collapse the geometry. You can collapse the material. Then go to this particular particle tracing for fluid flow. That's on the left. So then you right click. Okay, when you right click on it, you go to forces. Under forces, you are going to go over to where you have Brownian force. So you want to study that Brownian force. Okay, so once you do that, you can see Brownian force is appearing there. Okay, so the next thing is over here. I mean, this is already unactivated and there's nothing here. So you're going to need to select the two shapes. Select the two shapes. Okay, they are both inside. And don't forget that if you don't want any of the shape, then just click on it and then click on this negative. It will take it out. So we want the two shapes inside. Then after you have done that, I think every other thing here remains the same. So every other thing there is remain the same. And then the next thing again, you go back to the material or particle tracing, you right click on it. And this time around, you're going to click on release. So click on release, and when you click on release, click the square inside. So what does that mean? It means that the water is going to be released, or the particles will be released from inside the square. So once you click on it, you're going to see it here as two. Okay, and what next? We have under initial position. Here is initial position. We are going to look at it under initial position. We have something that I want to choose. It. Go to density. Click on density and number of particles we are releasing. So we are releasing 50 particles. So we are saying that we have 50 particles that make up the water. Okay. And what next? I think every other thing here remains the same. Every other thing here remains the same. What next? Remains the same. And yeah, everything remains the same. Next, we go to mesh. Yeah, go to mesh. Click on mesh. All right, so when you click on mesh, we want to choose something very important here. Now, normal is, now this talks about the size of, we want to choose, now, what would I say mesh looks like? Element size, okay. The size of the elements. And this also decides, number one, how fast what you are going to run is going to be, number one. Number two, it also decides um, how accurate how accurate your your model is. Now, when you go with extremely fine, you are dealing with something very, very accurate, and it's advisable that when you are running something that is, I mean, like a project or something like that, you go with the extremely fine because it's going to, that's where the best mark will be. Extremely fine or extremely extra fine. Very beautiful, very nice to go with. But I want you to take note that in the process of computing, okay, this may take a long time. Anyway, depending on maybe the operating system of your laptop, you understand, or depending on the properties of your system. But there are some instances that when you choose extremely fine, you may find it, computing for the next 10 hours. I mean, even 24 hours if you're not careful. You understand? And then you have to watch that. Do you have enough power to sustain the process? And I mean, once it goes off, possibly you may just shut down the entire computing process or thereabout. So, but for me, In this particular tutorial, I'm going to go with extremely coarse. Now, extremely coarse, okay, you know what? I want you to look at what extremely fine looks like. So when I click on extremely fine, I'm going to build. So when I build it, now can you see how fine everything here looks? Like it shows you the detail, should I say detail? Yeah, the detail of the movement and everything there. Okay, now let's go with normal and let's see what it looks like. When you click on normal, you can see the mesh. Okay, and when you click on extremely coarse, I build, and then you can see that there's a lot of spaces in between. So, like I said, for this one, I'm going to choose extremely coarse because I don't want it to take a long time while I'm computing. Okay, so I choose that, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'll click on, so I've done the mesh, I click on wall. This is wall. Now, as you can see, the wall has been highlighted. Okay, we have the wall that has been highlighted. The one inside is not highlighted, just the one outside that's highlighted. Now, what's going to happen for that wall? Now, I want the wall to be set to bounce, meaning that when the water particle, hits the wall that is blue, it's going to bounce back. Okay. It depends on what you are trying to, maybe you want it to freeze or you want it to stick, you want to disappear, okay, to disappear, you want to pass, when it passes through, the particle will just escape through the wall. Okay. So in this case, we're going to bounce. And the next thing is, let's go to this particular primary particle condition. Very important. We're going to click on expression. Okay, click on expression. Okay, then this one, leave it as it is, otherwise freeze. Okay, then the next thing is, we move on to time dependent. So it's time for us to compute. Click on time dependent, and then we're going to change this time. Now, surely we are working in second. Um, as it- we have zero. This is range 0, 0.1, and 1. And in this particular case, we have 0 starts for like the start time. Okay, starting at 0, and this is this middle, this 0.1 stands for something like the interval. And then we have end time. So let's change the interval to 0.5. Then we want it to run for 10. So I think that's like 10 seconds. So everything here remains the same. So after we have done that, we'll click on compute. So click on compute. And when you click on compute, then it starts to run. Starts to run. Okay. So a second. I'm coming. Uh, okay, so while it's computing, we can monitor the progress. So as you can see, we have 21% here. And so we can come back to it now. You can see this is maybe I would say quite fast. I mean, there are some times that this is even slow. You could just click on compute and within 10 seconds, it has already finished computing. So come back and then we're going to run the animation and let's see what it looks like. As you can see, our model has already computed, and let's close this. You can see the particles here. So in order to run this, you go to animation, okay, and then click on player. So once you click on player, now can you see? Those are the particles. So you can also play it from here. Now, as you can see, as it's playing, it's not going outside the wall. Let's see. When you take it back, let's take it back a little. Let's see. Now, as you can see, so look at the particles right inside the square, inside the square. So, and then it moves from there and then moves out. All right, so that's basically the first class that we had. So you can save it by going here, click on Save As, and then you can have a particular folder where you save all your projects. I mean, all the models that you decide to run. Click on Save As, and then you move on and you save it there. What else? Okay, so that's it. Thank you.